All right, so today we're talking about one of the most remote, isolated places on the entire planet, and how what started as this dream of a tropical paradise ended up becoming, well, a nightmare that spanned generations.
So to really get a handle on this, we're not going to start at the beginning. No, we're going to jump right into the deep end with a modern-day scandal that just blew the lid off a secret that had been festering for literally centuries.
Okay, so picture this. It's 2004. We're talking about this tiny, tiny community. I mean, only about 60 people live there. And all of a sudden, they're blasted onto the world stage for the absolute worst reasons you can think of.
55. That's how many charges were filed. And we're not talking about petty theft here. We're talking about horrifying charges of child abuse and rape, leveled against a huge chunk of the island's adult men. And get this, the people being accused weren't just, a few bad apples. We're talking about the top dogs. The island's mayor, the island's judge. It's just staggering. I mean, how does something like this happen? How does a culture of abuse get so baked into a place? Well, to figure that out, we have to rewind. Way, way back. Okay, let's set the scene. The year is 1787. A British ship, the famous HMS Bounty, is sailing across the massive Pacific Ocean on a pretty specific mission. So their mission? They were supposed to pick up breadfruit trees from Tahiti to go feed enslaved people in the Caribbean. But when the crew gets to Tahiti, man, they are just blown away. I mean, think about it. You're a sailor in the 1700s, used to hardtack and discipline. Suddenly you're in this tropical paradise with amazing weather, incredible food, and super welcoming people. They were so captivated, they ended up staying for more than half a year. So, after 6 months of that, you can imagine that the idea of going back to the miserable, cold, brutal life on a British naval ship, it was just a non-starter for some of them. So, a group of the sailors, led by this guy Fletcher Christian, they make a choice. They're not going back. It's time for a mutiny. So they pull it off. They take the ship, cast off the captain, and head back to Tahiti. But they know the Royal Navy is going to come looking for them. So they grab some Tahitian men and women, and they flee, searching for the perfect hiding spot. And they find it. Pitcairn Island. It's volcanic, it's remote, it's not even on most maps. The perfect hideout, right? Well, their paradise was about to turn into their own private hell. All right, so let's talk about how this new society got started, because it wasn't about building some utopian dream. Oh no, it was built on a foundation of pure, raw inequality, right from the get-go. You can just feel the tension from this setup. The 9 European sailors basically declare themselves kings. They took all the land, and then they each took a Tahitian woman for themselves. The 6 Tahitian men they'd brought along, they were forced to share the remaining 3 women. So right away, you have masters and slaves. This wasn't a community. It was a powder keg with a very short fuse. And just to make a terrible situation even worse, one of the guys, McCoy, figures out how to make booze, like really strong liquor from a local plant. So now you have alcoholism running rampant, which, as you can imagine, was like pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. So yeah, that powder keg I mentioned, it didn't take long for it to blow. What followed was a solid decade of just brutal, bloody violence that almost killed every single person on the island. Just look at this timeline. It's insane. They arrive in 1790. By 1793, the Tahitian men have had enough, and they rise up and kill Fletcher Christian and 4 other mutineers. But then, a year later, the Tahitian women who were being treated horribly turn on the Tahitian men and kill them all. By 1800, through more murder, suicide, and sickness, just one of the original mutineers is left alive, a guy named John Adams. So in 10 years, their paradise is basically a graveyard, and you've got 1 man left, along with 11 women and a bunch of kids. So what happens now? Well, John Adams basically becomes the patriarch of this new society. He finds the ship's Bible and has this religious awakening. He sets himself up as the leader, the patriarch, almost a messiah figure, with the women basically forming his harem. And here's the crucial part. Every single person born on Pitcairn from that point on would be a descendant of this one man and his very unique vision of society. So for years, the island is completely cut off, a lost world. When a ship finally stumbles upon it in 1808, they find this quiet, deeply religious little community. They have no idea about the bloody origins. But that legacy of a single powerful leader, that wasn't a one-off thing. It set a pattern. And this pattern just keeps repeating. In the 1830s, this con man named Joshua Hill shows up, lies about being sent by the British, and rules like a complete tyrant before they kick him out. Then, in the 1890s, a new religious leader arrives and converts everyone to Seventh-day Adventism, which is still the main faith there today. Even when it officially became a British territory, with a post office and all that, its isolation just allowed this culture of secrecy and, frankly, corrupt leadership to keep on going.
And that right there brings us full circle, right back to where we started, the year 2004. Because that dark, violent, patriarchal past was about to collide head-on with the present in a really, really disturbing way. So, the mayor and 5 other men were found guilty. They literally had to build a prison on this tiny island just for them. I mean, can you imagine? But believe it or not, the story still doesn't stop there. Because in 2010, the brand new mayor, who happened to be the brother of the judge who got acquitted, was himself convicted of possessing child pornography. It's just unbelievable. The cycle of abuse, of corruption at the very top, it seems like it's woven into the very fabric of the island.
So you have to ask, why? Why does this keep happening? Well, there's a key detail about the people on this island, including the ones who were accused. The vast majority of them are descended from that one lone survivor, John Adams, the man who saw himself as a messiah. And that's the thread. The island's entire dysfunction can be traced right back to its rotten foundation. A society born from mutiny, built on a brutal power imbalance, and then rebooted under the absolute, unquestioned rule of one man over a group of women he treated as his property. So it leaves you with this really chilling question. Can a place that was founded on such violence and subjugation ever truly escape its own past? That's the question Pitcairn is still struggling with. And it's a hell of a reminder that the shadows of history, well, they can be incredibly long and incredibly dark.